is because defense isn't being made fun in practice, right? Too many flag football coaches, a lot of them, first off, never even practice defense. They just don't do it, right? They're happy to go into a game and say, if we're going to win 34-31, and we're going to win the game. The problem with that is that is such a short-sighted approach, because defense is literally half of the game. And I'll tell you this too, and I've been coaching defense for a long time, and you learn so much about offense if you are properly playing defense. Like, it's an ecosystem. It's a symbiotic relationship. And so when you're out there and you just totally give up on defense and you don't make it fun, nobody wants to play defense, right? That's why you see so many kids, they're like, I want to be quarterback. I want to be wide receiver. Most kids playing quarterback at fourth, fifth, sixth grade aren't going to be playing quarterback. They're just not, because they're going to run into the brick wall known as talent. And that's just life. That's just how it goes. But if you don't practice defense and you don't make defense fun, then you're limiting places to go on the field as more talent comes in, because you get that point, right, where it's, let's call it 10, 11, 12, where you get the kids that have predominantly been rec players start to fall off, or they have to move positions because somebody's coming in and they've just outworked them. Their physical traits are just undeniable. But if you don't have defense in your back pocket as a skill set, as something that you can be successful at on the field and something that you can contribute to, I mean, you've just done your players such a disservice. I'll give you an example, and I appreciate the question, but I'll give you an example. This is back when we were just doing rec and some tournament stuff, but there was another coach, and he had a team. This coach, he never practiced defense. He just thought that they didn't need to do defense. First, here's the funny thing. This guy has never scored. They were talking about 4-5 years, so I don't know how many seasons that is. He's never scored a touchdown against our defenses, ever. Not one touchdown. I mean, in all the games, all the quarters, all the halves, not one touchdown. And the interesting thing about that is that because you never got through to the players, you never made defense fun. It was short-sighted approach. You never made defense fun. If you don't make defense fun, then you're not going to have a good defense. And if you don't have a good defense, then you better have a really, really good, almost mistake-free offense. And he didn't, and so you just put your players in such a bad spot. It's such a horrible perspective. And a lot of coaches do it because they say, well, I want to get this kid touchdowns. I want to get this kid to throw touchdowns. And then there's the daddy ball element of like, my kid's got to score, or my kid's going to cry all weekend and is going to ruin my weekend. And these are bad coaches. These are bad perspectives. And these are teams that have bad results, unfortunately. If you make defense fun for all the players, make defense fun, you're actually developing the player because you're giving them a place that they can go. And you're giving your team a chance to win. I mean, you really. Let me tell you, if you hold the offense to 0 touchdowns, I don't know what the percentage is. It's got to be pretty good. It's got to be pretty good that you're going to win the game, right? I mean, we've had some ties, but none of them were 0-0. I mean, there's a chance, good chance you're going to win the game. So, defense is important, and smart coaches get it. Smart coaches make defense fun because really, if you're doing the long play for the player and that player's family and trying to keep them in the game, you're giving them a place to go for when other talent comes in as they get older. So it's really important. You've got to find a way to make defense fun. It's harder because it's not as sexy, right? It's not as sexy. The stats usually aren't there. I mean, it's hard to get pick sixes, so it's hard to score on defense. But if you can find a way to do it and cut through as a coach on defense, you've got a really good shot, like really good shot for your team to be set up for success, to get some dubs. Most importantly, for the players to walk out of there and go, I've got another skill. I got another skill set. I got another tool in the toolbox that I can use moving forward. So that's really good. I think for the women in flag football and the girls in flag football, this is really exciting, right? I mean, we're not even at the flashpoint yet. It's still embryonic, girls flag football. For the girls, for the boys, I will say this, and I see it, and I've been seeing it. There is still that sixth, seventh, eighth grade, definitely by freshman in high school, where boys are like, oh, you play flag? Well, okay, you can play flag when you're not playing tackle to kind of stay tuned up, not get injured, but all you play is flag. I mean, I'm seeing that from the boys, and I think that's a dude thing. I think that's never going to go away. You know, I've always said I think flag football will continue to grow. There is a ceiling for the boys. I mean, there just is. You're just not going to see a lot of 8th, 9th, 10th graders where exclusively all they do is flag. It's just not going to happen if they're not incorporating, tackle in the alternate season. A lot of those flag players are peeling off to baseball and basketball, especially where I live. So for the boys, it's you're going to hit that, oh, you play flag football, and that's not going to change anytime soon. I'm not saying never, but anytime soon. But for the girls, there is no ceiling. I mean, this is a wide open green space, and the really good athletes, most importantly, though, I do think in the girls' sports, the great teammates, they are set now to really make some noise and to really go places. If you can team them up with the right coaches, if you can get them around the right players, and some of the athletes, the girl athletes who are great athletes, but they might have parents that aren't the best and do too much coaching. And when I mean coaching, it's quote coaching, but it's not coaching. If you can get them away from and not listen to that, get some of the parents to peel off and just say, hey, step back. Then I think the sport can be wide open, especially with NIL and name, image, likeness. The opportunity for a woman to walk onto a college field, play flag football, make some money, and then maybe even go into the Olympics, that is awesome, and it's here. And the Olympics is actually a very interesting conversation when you really think about it. So you're talking about, a worldwide competition, and you're also talking about, and I think more important than any of this, because right now the girls are having, there are a few standouts. Of course, the girl in Mexico, and we were just talking about her now. Of course, I was just forgetting her name, but the girls need they need some celebrities, right? They need some people to attach to. Kind of like, when people growing up and they were watching Peyton Manning and, whatever era, whatever generation or something, but you had a jersey to buy. You know what I mean? You had a jersey to buy. So I think as that moves forward and time goes on, the girls are going to have some jerseys to buy, some players to attach to, some game to emulate. You want to look at somebody. I mean, how many kids, I grew up, and everybody at recess was trying to do Michael Jordan stuff on the court, and rightfully so. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? Because you'd go home and your parents are watching them and everybody's freaking out and the whole country's in love with them. And so we need that. The Olympics will help that more than anything else. It'll kind of give us it'll just give us some attachment. Who can we emulate? Who can we look to? So, any sport, any brand, I guess, needs some celebrity status and needs somebody to get attention, to constantly get attention. So, the Olympics will be great for that. Some stars will be born, not just the United States, international. This is a game that really transcends borders, and I think that's really cool. Like baseball, it's well, I guess it's a little different, than baseball. I mean, baseball, you got to have gear. But, in football, you kind of need a football and a field, and you can sort of make things happen. So there is a global opportunity for girls flag football, much more so than the boys flag football. The boys flag football will grow, but like I said, there's a point where, boys are going to look at other boys and go, you play flag football and you're in 8th grade and you're not playing tackle. Then that's just a natural boy thing that's going to happen. But the girls, the wide open space is pretty remarkable.